Let's talk RVs. There's so many different types out there. You want to make sure you get the right kind that's best for you in your camping situation. For example, there's some that need to be towed while others have an onboard motor. Some can be 12 feet long, others are 46 plus feet long. Let's take a look at the pros and cons of each type. Let's go. The first RV type and the smallest is the pop-up camper. These are going to be, again, the smallest type, generally the lowest cost. It's great for the occasional RVer. These units new can start around $10,000 and work their way to about $30,000. A couple of pros for a pop-up camper: it's generally towable by most vehicles, but be sure to check your manual. And once you are hooked up to the vehicle, it's easy to tow and maneuver. Some drawbacks might include limited space, limited storage. It may or may not have onboard water and air conditioning. Up next in the towable category is the travel trailer. These we see scattered all over RV parks and on our highways. These are going to come in a variety of lengths. Price-wise, you'll see them anywhere starting around $20,000 and can work their way over $200,000. These come in a variety of lengths. They will be towed by your truck or SUV so long as it meets the requirements for your vehicle. All right, let's take a look at some of the pros. First up, comes in a wide variety of lengths, all the way up to about the mid 30-foot range. And you can find a wide variety of features, anywhere from a very basic unit all the way up to a very fully featured model. And it may not require an HD truck like some of the larger units where you'd find a fifth wheel would require an HD vehicle, HD truck. Probably not the case with a travel trailer. Another big benefit, you can unhitch a travel trailer from your tow vehicle and use your tow vehicle to drive around town where you don't need an additional car with you, as you would need with one of the larger Class A's or so, which we'll get into here in a minute. And on the con list, it's a potential con is backing up a travel trailer. It can be tricky, at least in the very beginning. If you want to learn how to do that, check out our video. We'll link it in the description. Up next in the non-motorized category, we have the fifth wheel. You'll still need a tow vehicle for this being non-motorized. However, in a lot of cases, you're going to need an HD truck, along with a special hitch mounted in the truck bed. The upside to this, you have more space. These can come in lengths all the way up into the mid 40-foot range. Price-wise, they're gonna start brand new around the $60,000 mark and work their way up into the upper $200,000 range. Taking a look at the pros, you may find that it's more stable than a travel trailer, that it mounts into the bed of the truck versus being a hitch mount. And a couple of potential drawbacks or cons in this case: there's a good chance you will need an HD truck. If you don't own one, you may have to look at picking up one of those. It does take up, while it's mounted, it is going to take up most of the space in the bed of your truck, so that reduces storage. And depending on where you're traveling, a larger size RV or fifth wheel may not fit in some of the older RV resorts. All right, let's take a look at some of the motorized RVs. First, and typically smallest on the list, will be a Class B. Class B units are typically a converted van, or also known as a camper van. These models are great for 1 or 2 people. On the other side, you may have fewer amenities than you would see in a travel trailer or a fifth wheel. Prices can vary quite a bit, anywhere down from around $60,000 to over $200,000, and custom units, your guess is as good as mine. On the pros, it can be great for boondocking all the way to RV resort camping. When you're boondocking, you can drive right down a road in a lot of cases, especially with a 4-wheel drive unit, and access places where you may not be able to get to with a travel trailer. A lot of folks will find these easy to drive. It's exactly like a van. And also, if you're at an RV resort, it's very easy to unhook your utilities, drive around town, and come right back. A few potential cons: it may not include a shower or a sink. You have smaller storage space. And if you have onboard water, the holding tanks tend to be a little bit smaller. All right, on to Class C. In terms of size, these are gonna fit between Class B and Class A. I didn't name them, don't ask me. These are easily recognized, where you have the truck or van front and a living quarters in the back. Prices will start around the low to mid $150,000 range and work their way to over $400,000. Some pros: they're typically very fully featured with a shower, awnings, kitchen, refrigerator, and so on. You should have enough space for the family, and it's easy to get in and out of an RV resort parking pad. While you don't have the same space as a Class A, it will be easier to maneuver. A couple potential drawbacks: you may need a secondary vehicle to drive around town while you leave this hooked up on the property. And you don't always have as much storage as you would have with a Class A or a larger fifth wheel or travel trailer. Up next on our motorized list, and typically the largest, are the Class A motorhomes. Again, these are usually the largest, and they're easily identified by, well, they usually look like a bus. Because these are generally bus frames, you're gonna have heavier appliances, heavier materials, more amenities on board because it can support the weight. You may find prices start around mid $150,000 range for a new unit and work their way up into the 7-figure range. So there's all sorts of options for a Class A. A few pros: maximum space as well as maximum storage. You'll find a variety of options, but one thing that's great, you can buy these in gasoline or diesel motors. They're great for large families, and a huge perk, it may have an onboard power generator so you can be fully off-grid as long as you got fuel. On the list of cons, you may not always be able to fit on every RV resort parking pad, and a larger rig may mean it's a little bit trickier to drive, especially with a secondary vehicle behind you. One other potential con is low fuel efficiency. You gotta check each model, but it's something to consider. There's so many options out there when you're considering an RV. If you're in the market, let us know. What are you looking for? If you have one, leave it down in the comments. Hope you found the information helpful. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for future content. See you next time.